You ever finished an easy run and looked down at your watch and thought, man, like, was that zone one? Was it zone two? This video is for you. I had a post go semi-viral on TikTok, at least as viral as I ever go on TikTok. And it was talking about the differences between easy runs and overthinking easy runs and how we actually look at them and why, in particular, this fascination over easy runs is costing you consistency, confidence, and long-term progress in running. So I wanted to take a moment and clean up the idea of easy runs, steady runs, recovery runs, zone, pace, heart rate. And I'm going to give it to you hopefully in a way that resonates with everybody. This is the way I talk about it with high-level athletes running 2:12 in the marathon, all the way to first-time marathoners, without the obsession over lines that don't really exist. And I'll explain that later. If you're new to my channel, I'm the most reviewed coach on Team Run Run. I've got over 100 5-star reviews. I've coached over 150 athletes to Boston qualifiers in the last 4 years. I've helped more than 25 athletes represent Canada. I work with Olympians and pros on the mental side of performance. So whether you're gearing up for your first 5K, trying to build your mindset, or really kind of push through to a new breakthrough on the performance, this channel is here to help you and for me to give back to the sport that's given me so much. Let's start with the big issue right away. We have so much nomenclature in running. We've got zones, we've got RPE, we've got heart rate, we've got pace. We have all these different systems and nobody seems to have anything that's congruent. There's no concrete dividing line between like zone 1 and zone 2. We come up with these calculators, we come up with these best guesstimates of like 138 to 142 is zone 2. I'm making up examples here, right? And 142 to 145 is zone 3. There's no actual line. The body doesn't just flip a switch the moment you drift from high zone 1 to high zone 2 or even moderate zone 2 on some days. Zones are just rough categories. As humans, we like to categorize things and put things into boxes, but they're not biological laws. They're useful, don't get me wrong, but they're not a precise instrument for understanding what we're doing for training. Zones can be completely overvalued. So heart rate zones, as an example, are just a way to classify stress after the intervention. They don't tell you how well you're adapting, how recovered you are, how much total load you're carrying, mechanical load, like we're looking at a cardiovascular load, not a mechanical load problem, and what you need today. There's no magic physiological event that happens at exactly 72 versus 75% of heart rate. So to simplify easy running, I thought we could ask the question a little bit better. Typically would ask, am I in zone 1 or am I in zone 2? The better question is, what is the goal of this run? Realistically, there's 2 buckets. 1, easy, steady running that builds endurance. So easy to steady runs have a single job: accumulate aerobic work without digging a hole. That's it. You're stacking aerobic enzymes, capillary density, movement economy, durability. What matters is total load over time, not a single run. That begets the question of what's good enough. And I would say it depends. I know, dreaded answer, but I'm going to try to clarify it here. Context matters. If you're running high mileage, slower often makes more sense. It lets you accumulate volume. It slightly reduces the mechanical stress. If you're running lower volume or you're more fast twitch oriented, this is why you'll see some of our terms in distance running actually carry over to sprinters. Sprinters will do tempo. It means something completely different. But if you're lower mileage and or more fast twitch oriented, slightly faster might actually be required. Otherwise, the stimulus might be too low for adaptation. This is why training history matters. This is why individualization matters. This is why, as coaches, it's our job to understand the athletes in front of us, not the spreadsheet that we put onto them. I'll give you a real world example. Look at elite training history. You'll see athletes at the marathon level running 90 to 100 plus miles a week at 6:30 to 7-minute pace. Others running 60 to 70 miles a week at 6-minute pace. One great example is American legend Bernard Lagat. He's a great example of the latter. Different volume, different intensity, same aerobic goal. There's no single correct pace. Further looking at the complexity of the context, there's different phases to what we do of training. So in a base phase, you might have some more flexibility. This is why during the base phase, easy runs can often drift a little faster. Athletes aren't constantly recovering from hard workouts or prepping for hard workouts. Aerobic development is the workout in this phase. So you'll often see runners start easy, gradually run up into a higher zone. Sometimes they might drift into zone 3 late. That's not a problem because the context has appropriate training here. So often this base phase can be the bridge towards structured endurance workout. Second bucket you can look at for these runs is recovery runs. We use these to maintain. We want to maintain the aerobic stimulus throughout the week, even when we're in our sharpening phases or building phases or specific prep phases, depending on the language you want to use. These runs aren't meant for building. They're meant for maintaining your aerobic load. So recovery runs are not the same things as easy runs. The goal shifts here. Now you're trying to maintain the aerobic signal while reducing the total stress. Your emphasis has shifted from building the aerobic side, from easy running, from your total volume, to more so the workouts and the intensity you're doing. We're keeping the signal here, but we're lowering the mechanical load, the physiological stress, and sometimes the mental fatigue. That's it. Another piece I see, and I get athletes asking me all this time for feedback about their recovery pace for easy runs. They ask as if it's this fixed number. And I would argue that some days recovery pace is still zone 2, if that's the language you want to use, especially if you're used to running faster every day. Other days, recovery pace is very, very slow. So this is why you'll see elite athletes, from North Americans to East Africans, start runs at even 9-minute pace. Okay, so if you've made it this far, you might be asking, Brant, this is great, like lots of understanding for this, but what actually determines my recovery speed? It depends on so many things. One, how much recovery you need. What type of recovery you need? Is it central nervous system recovery from higher speed workouts? Is it mechanical load from an injury? Is it mechanical load from a higher aerobic tempo session the day before? Where are you in your training cycle? How much recovery do we want you to have? Your fiber type, your weekly load. It changes throughout. And this is why I love asking my athletes, and if you're an athlete of mine listening to this, you're probably sick of it at this point, but I ask you, how are you feeling after almost every single run? Because during different phases, I need that qualitative feedback. You as an athlete need to ask that question, because that tells you how you're actually recovering. So during heavy workout phases, more of your runs might become recovery oriented. Aerobic fitness is being maintained but not built. That's just good training. It doesn't have to be the same as when you were base building, and vice versa. I've worked with probably 1,500 athletes at this point in my career, if not more. And here's the truth that most runners need to hear. Don't let your watch decide the run or run you. I want you to use pace, heart rate, zones as information, not commandments. I've talked about this in other videos, and it's a philosophy I live by, but I want to triangulate. I want to look at pace and heart rate and zones, and most importantly, RPE, to triangulate if I'm doing the right thing today. And so over time, your job as an athlete is to learn about your RPE, triangulate across these three, understand how you're bouncing back, ask your coach if they're not telling you what phase I'm in, what I should be expecting from this. How should I be looking at this? Is it an easy run? Is it recovery run? Am I base building? Am I trying to recover between harder sessions? So this way you can start to learn and become a little bit more autonomous into adjusting based on the goal of the day, rather than going, oh, it was just zone 2 or just easy pace or just recovery, therefore it's X pace or X heart rate. Again, the zones help guide, but they don't dictate. Training works best when it's simple. Anybody who overcomplicates this stuff is probably not as smart as they're trying to sound. And as the old saying goes, you keep your easy days easy and your hard days hard, and you respect the goal of the day if it's an easy day or a hard day, and you stop overthinking easy running, you're probably going to progress. You're probably going to have less injuries. You're probably going to have less burnout. You're probably going to have more consistent sessions. And when you start to do all those over a long period of time, you build the frequency and then the intensity, and then you get the outcome. You do this for months and months and months. You will build an unbreakable system of ability to drive your performance forward. I find too often we get stuck in wanting it right now. We have the Amazon problem. I want my prime right here, tomorrow, now, today. Physiology doesn't really care what you want. It responds to stimulus. And so if we give it the right stimulus, you'll get the proper response and the outcome you're looking for. I hope this has helped you understand easy running and recovery in the different buckets a little bit more. I've got 5 or 6 videos now explaining the different phases and ideas within training. So if you'd like, I'll link them in the show notes and at the end cap here so you can take a look at those. My goal as always is to give you as much information as possible so you can be the most informed runner and autonomous, so you can go out there and train and crush goals. If you've liked the content, please subscribe, comment. I'd love to hear your questions. I'd happily answer them in the comments for you. But if not, enjoy your running and stay fast, stay free.